video is going to be slightly surprising because it really doesn't talk much about new information related to your papers or the class. But I'm simply here to ask you for your help in a survey that you received through your email that you might have missed. You've probably gotten an email that looks like this very generic email, but I thought I would try to highlight what it looks like. It basically has a heading that no one will recognize. It'll say reminder. End of semester or end of term idea course survey, something like that, and then it'll have a lot of information which in a deadline which people may or may not see, may or may not respond to, and probably by and large will ignore. In an actual email, it actually looks like this since I've taken classes and gotten them myself. They'll be for a specific instructor, in this case me, and you'll have to click on a link. Now, depending on the place where you get this or receive your email, it may be filtered out. You might not even see it at all. But for those people who do see it and might ignore it, I'm making this short plea. It's a brief plea just to double check and make sure that you haven't gotten it, because of course it's a survey related to the class. So here's my little presentation regarding that. The problem is that they're hard to recognize. That's why I was belaboring the point about the email. And hard to find later. People will dig through their email if they have time. And if you're like me, you can get a full day's worth of email, and paging through it will take some time, and much of it will be unrecognizable. But they're all about an opportunity for fairness. And we live, of course, in an unfair world, but this is your chance to express a little fairness, because, as we know, the rain falls sometimes on the just and unjust alike. And by that I mean sometimes our surveys are blunt instruments that don't really get at what we need to get at. They're sometimes the most inaccurate instruments that we could find. Not that I prefer them, but that they result in measurements that are not in tune with what we need. For example, in the eyes of the state and of the people who run schools, the opinions from students who stopped attending during that very first week of class are sometimes treated the same way as your opinions, which I think is maybe the most glaring example. There are other particular problems with surveys like this. But that student who September 25th, or maybe even the 21st, decided that they'd had enough, are looked at, if they get the survey and respond to it, which oddly enough they might, as having the same kind of opinion as a student who's gone through the course, suffered my verbal abuse, but also my constructive feedback, and who has gotten to the end of it. And it seems to me that people who have gone through the course usually should have an opinion, since we just got done talking about opinions, that are more authoritative on the subject. And so I hope you think about that sense of unfairness, because there are other little inaccuracies and problems with the instrument that we use and that you can correct right now. Still talking about fairness. Brace yourself for a shock. I know this will surprise you. But very few students have expectations that may not match with reality when it comes to evaluating their instructors or their classes or the schools that they go to. I've had students come in with sometimes unrealistic expectations about what is possible in the short space of a class, and I'd hope that people would try to bear that in mind as they approach giving feedback on a class. I can't have an entire class meet at Diamond Gyms, which, if you'd never heard of, don't worry about. But I have gotten that suggestion from a student who put on, at least for the moment, a serious face, or Solid Gold, or at a bar. There are some things that just can't happen for a classroom environment. And so unrealistic expectations are not what we can have, or not what we can base a review on. The class really was a result of this very survey. The class was designed to be as short at the request of students, which sometimes surprises people, but it was previous students like you who said, let's have a short class, let's have it condensed, let's try and get it done even quicker. Now, it may be the case that at some future point we get it so quick that it's just a drive-through service, but for the time being we do what we can. We muddle through as best we can and try and offer the feedback that we can when we are able. By and large, we've tried to give feedback and instructions for the class in a timely fashion. Average turnaround nationwide is 2 weeks for a paper, and by and large, we do better in our classes than the national average, and sometimes much better. And I think reasonably most my students realize that some things must be sacrificed for short courses, that short courses can't be examined and contrasted with longer courses for what they can do. I just simply can't spend all my time on discussion boards if what the focus of the course, for example, is on formal writing, so that is something that sometimes has to go. And while I love doing it and love reading students' comments in a more informal setting, that's not the class that you chose. It's not the class that previous students helped us design. And I hope people would recognize that as they go to take a look at their survey. The requirements, at least in my mind, and really the requirements on me, haven't changed at all. I've got to work with students on their writing, and that's what I've been trying to do. And I hope that you see at least a little bit of that. My comments are never meant to be hurtful, to stretch people beyond their limits, to develop unrealistic expectations for what students can't do. Really always trying to help, which is my main goal. But I know that's tough to see that sometimes, or sometimes students will ignore a helping hand offered. But this is my chance to remind people that that's the only reason why we're doing this in the first place. That's the only reason that many of the teachers are teaching in the first place. So just reminding you of the blatantly obvious. Sorry about that. A little bit more. This thing you know is true. Sometimes it's the loudest and negative voices that are heard most. You know it as well as I do that both in campus classes and online, the opportunity to flame and just kind of walk out of the room or walk out of an online experience is very easy and more memorable usually than the positive things that people say. Meekness is indeed a virtue, but meekness also gets good teachers trampled on. I see it actually too often. If you, the worthy student, doesn't speak up, only one voice will be heard. So think back to anything positive that you can speak about. Anything that you noticed that worked out well for you. I have a little Edmund Burke down at the bottom. But I really think this is an opportunity for people to step up and get noticed not for the negative things, but for the things that we can do to try and improve on future classes, because that's what we're always trying to do, believe it or not. Teachers oftentimes are cast in the worst light with the most demeaning reputation. I'd like to try and redeem that slightly. I know that I can't altogether do that, but I want to try to communicate to people that we do listen and we do try to improve things. And within reason, we can do some things to help how classes are offered. It's not you. It's not you that will sit back, because you will stand up and be noticed. In giving feedback for our classes, consider yourself helping that future student. Within reason, offer helpful feedback. No trips to diamond gems or solid gold for us. But we can do things that help make the experience in classrooms, both online and on campus, better. So if there are experiences that work better for you than others, if within reason you can see places or opportunities to improve, please let us know. That's what we want to do. We're folks who can take it. In a campus class once, someone took the time while we were doing evaluations to make a stick figure of me with a knife going into it, into my back, which I thought was not very helpful. And my dean didn't take it seriously. It was a great ticket to take that review and maybe question what else was said on it. Reviews that are treated seriously will be taken seriously, and I hope people will think about that with this last little plea for a little TLC for the teacher. Thank you for helping us do our jobs better. Thank you for giving us feedback, which is really truly underappreciated by society or even by the world, but it is appreciated by us. And thanks for your efforts this term. So I hope that the rest of your fall and or first part of winter go well. I hope that you are able to recover from all of your work and the hard efforts and late nights you might have put in. but it's now getting to the close. Do this last solid effort for your final assignments, and please give us a little help for trying to improve our classes overall. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you. Bye-bye.